Jack Watson's father died saving me during a kidnapping. Since that day, Jack became an orphan too, just like me. The Watson family took me in, adopted me. But Jack hated me. He never showed it in front of others, but behind closed doors, every drop of anger and resentment he had, he threw it all at me. Douglas, my dad died saving you. You owe me. For life. I swallowed the bitterness rising in my throat, and let him sink his fangs into my gland, again. Yeah, I whispered. I know. I owe you for the rest of my life. After yet another impromptu marking session, I leaned against the headboard, waiting for the dizziness to fade. My voice came out low and cautious. Can I go to school tomorrow? Jack lay on his side, lighting a cigarette. Smoke curled around his face. Through the haze, I caught the corner of his lips pulling into a smirk. Depends on how you behave. Behave? What more does he want? I hesitated, then tilted my head and gave him a quick kiss. He didn't react. So I kissed him again. And again. Jack finally lost his patience, scooped me up with one arm, and threw me back on the bed. Stop kissing me, he said coldly. You're terrible at it. Then he pressed down hard. He, on the other hand, kissed like he meant war. Fierce. Merciless. His kisses always left me breathless, like I was drowning. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the cigarette still burning between his fingers. He hadn't taken a single drag. Driver will take you to school tomorrow, he muttered, voice heavy with warning. And stay the hell away from that senior in your lab. Got it? I don't remember if I responded. Maybe I did. If I hadn't, Jack wouldn't have let me fall asleep so easily. I was up way too late last night. It was already afternoon by the time I made it to the lab. My senior classmates were deep in their experiments. The moment they caught the scent of mint on me, they joked. Your man won't even let you leave the house without marking you, huh? I pulled on my lab coat and laughed, shaking my head. Pretty much. Like a dog, one of the girls muttered with a frown. She didn't like how much of my time Jack took up. Only dogs need to mark their territory with scent. I listened quietly and thought. Everyone knew there was a mad dog at home who watched me like a hawk. But no one knew Jack wasn't the dog. I was. The experiment we were working on, developing suppressants, was funded by the Watson family. Without their money, this project wouldn't even exist. So it was good that I was an obedient little dog. And Jack, so far, seemed satisfied. I picked up a vial and forced myself to focus. Outside the window, dusk began to fall. I stretched my stiff neck and suddenly froze. Reaching into my pocket, I pulled out my phone. I hadn't checked it all afternoon. No new messages from Jack. A wave of relief washed over me. Just then, one of the seniors finished crunching the data. He called out, "None of yous have eaten all day. Let's grab something late tonight. Douglas, you coming?" I hesitated. But Jack hadn't messaged me all afternoon. He was probably caught up with team stuff too, right? It was just a quick meal. I come right back. What could go wrong? I gave a soft nod. Yeah, I'll come. Nice. Frederick slung an arm around my shoulder. Got any food you can't eat? I remember the first time we had dinner together, and then you vanished like a ghost. I smiled. I'm good with anything. Ah, our little Douglas is too damn sweet. Frederick ruffled my hair playfully. I turned my head, trying to dodge him. And then, I froze. Because I saw a car. Parked not far away. Familiar. The window was halfway down. A pale, slender hand flicked ash from a cigarette. Around the wrist was a watch, Vacheron Constantin. The one Jack always wore. He was watching me. I knew he was. Why'd you stop? My throat tightened. I might. Then I saw the car door open. Jack stepped out, tall and lean in a black suit, his face a flawless mask of indifference. But I could feel it, he was angry. I might have to skip dinner, I whispered. Jack. Frederick noticed him too. It's just a meal. Why is he so controlling? You don't understand. Well, tonight I'm not backing down. You're coming with us, what's he gonna do? Frederick tightened his grip on my shoulder, staring Jack down with a challenge in his eyes. An alpha scent always had weight to it. And when it was from someone who'd already marked you, It hit even harder. My knees went weak. My heart was pounding. I tried to pry Frederick's hand off me, but I couldn't. Douglas, come here. I looked at Jack, silently begging. Frederick yanked me back toward him. A major general, restricting his Omega's freedom like this? He scoffed. You've got no right to treat him this way, Jack. Oh yeah, Jack said, stepping closer. Jack's lips curved into a cruel smile. But Douglas is my dog. Go ahead, see if he'd actually leave with you. Frederick's fury flared. For a moment, I thought he was going to punch Jack in the face. I grabbed his arm in a panic. Please don't do this, Senior. I really have to go back. I'm sorry. I can't have dinner with you guys tonight. Again. I slipped out of his grip, not daring to look at his face. Was he angry? Disappointed? I didn't have the courage to find out. All I could do was walk quickly to Jack's side and take his hand. Let's go, Jack. He didn't move. So I asked again, softer, almost pleading. Let's go. Once we were in the car, I felt more exhausted than after a full day in the lab. Physically, mentally, worn out. Jack, who always appeared cold and aloof in public, turned into a relentless talker the moment we were alone. Douglas, did what I said yesterday just go in one ear and out the other? I told you to stay away from him. But you had to go and defy me, huh? He's an alpha. You're an omega. You know that makes a difference, don't you? He slammed the steering wheel hard. The blare of the horn startled me so badly I jumped. Answer me. I hadn't said a word since we got into the car. I didn't know what to say. Argue with him? That'd only make things worse. A suffocating silence stretched between us. Then Jack spoke again. You mad? I was surprised to hear him ask. Because I called you a dog? That's why you're mad. His chest rose and fell with heavy breaths. He looked like he was reaching the edge. Douglas, what right do you have to be angry? Here we go again. I say nothing, and he fills in the blanks himself. You want me to apologize to you now? You seriously think you didn't do anything wrong today? I have no right. It's my fault. I'm sorry. I looked at him calmly. I shouldn't have disobeyed you. After all, I owe you for the rest of my life. Jack stared at me for a long moment before squeezing out a single sentence. As long as you understand. I really do owe him, for life. That's not something I ever tried to deny. Jack's father had once been a celebrated general in the Alliance. If he were still alive today, he probably could have saved countless more people. Might have gone down in history. But he died. Died saving me. During a kidnapping over a decade ago. Even while being rushed to the hospital, he made arrangements for me. An orphan. He made sure the Watson family adopted me. Jack's mother was a kind woman. A gentle, loving Omega. But after her husband died, she wilted like a flower losing sunlight. And a few years later, she too was gone. Jack became an orphan, just like me. All because of me. Because of what happened. So when he says I owe him, I don't argue. Jack was a difficult child. He used to bully me. He'd scoop all the food into his bowl and leave me nothing, even if it meant eating himself sick. The housekeepers and staff all listened to him. They ignored me. Never played with me. But that same Jack, he also stood up for me when classmates picked on me. Douglas is part of the Watson family. Try touching him again and see what happens. When I started having nightmares and psychological episodes, he brought in a therapist. When I fell behind in school, he got me private tutors. He was complicated. So cruel to me sometimes. And yet, other times, unbearably kind. Jack and I didn't speak for days. Our Cold War was entirely one-sided. He didn't let me leave the house. If I so much as hinted I wanted to step out, the guards would silently block the door. So I always gave up. Retreated to the giant bed in the master bedroom. Jack was still the same as when we were kids. When he got angry, he expected me to coax him. Apologies didn't work. I had to say sweet things. Be soft. Make him feel appeased, adored. But now that we're grown, it's not just words anymore. Now, I have to use my body too, to make him happy. What would it take for Jack to be satisfied? It was a puzzle harder than calculus. I drifted off to sleep thinking that. When I woke up, there was someone sitting by the bed, staring at me. I startled, fully awake in an instant. Jack? You're back. He scoffed. Sleeping like a baby, huh? I reached out, trying to touch his hand. Are you still mad? Can you stop being mad now? Jack pulled away, refusing to let me touch him. Instead, he sneered. You only know how to act sweet when you want something. When you don't need me, you practically live out in the wild. Can't even be bothered to send a damn message. I whispered weakly, then, should I text you every day from now on? Go back to sleep. But my gut told me, Jack still wasn't appeased. Instinctively, I reached for his hand, only to feel heat radiating off his skin. Wait, are you entering rut early? Jack's rut cycles had always been unpredictable. But this time, it was way too soon. I'll go get your suppressant. Don't go. I bit my lip, swallowed my shame. I'll help you. I can help you, okay? Jack paused for a few seconds, then turned to look at me. Moonlight spilled in through the window, casting pale shadows across his face. His alpha eyes narrowed, and suddenly, there was something dangerous in them. You'll help me? How exactly? With that god-awful kissing technique of yours? My face flamed instantly. I couldn't even defend myself. Instead, I tugged on Jack's hand, pulling him onto the bed. He followed without resistance, like a predator, humoring his prey, waiting to see what I'd do next. The room slowly filled with the rich, sweet scent of oranges. Carefully I asked, does this feel good? Jack let out a laugh, sharp and breathless. Douglas, what do you think I am? A kid you're trying to pacify? Then everything flipped upside down. He pinned me beneath him. Jack had always been rough. Like now, his lips crushed against mine, fierce, unrelenting, like a beast tearing its prey apart. After a while, I couldn't even tell which pain was worse. The ache in my gland or the rest of my body. Douglas, stay away from other alphas. Don't piss me off again. You're mine. Always. Mint and citrus clung to the air, so thick it felt like it would never fade. To Jack, I was something that belonged to him. And I just happened to be an omega. An omega with a 90% match rate to him. It's as if even fate believed that I was meant to stay by Jack's side forever, to atone. 3 full days of feeding the beast. Only then was I allowed outside again. Jack said he had to handle work, wouldn't be back for a while. But he made me promise to call him once every day. I agreed obediently. And whenever I had a free moment, I called him first. But one morning, just as the experiment was reaching a critical stage, Jack's custom ringtone blared in my pocket, without warning. It rang once. I froze. After a moment's hesitation, I picked up. A woman's unfamiliar voice came through. Is this Douglas? Yes. Jack's been hurt. He's at the Alliance Central Hospital. You should come now. My hand jerked involuntarily. A nearby vial tipped and crashed, liquid spilling all over the desk. Panicked, I scrambled to clean up, answering in a rush. Got it. I'm on my way. Jack got hurt? The moment I heard it, my heart clenched. A breathless, sharp pain. I didn't even stop to think. I rushed out of school and headed straight to the hospital. Outside Jack's room stood a tall woman. She saw me and waved. You made it. It was the same voice from the call. How is he? I asked. He's resting now. But when they gave him anesthesia, he kept mumbling your name. She smiled playfully. So I figured I'd call you. When he wakes up, go on in. I'll leave now. I nodded. Thank you. No need, she said with a sudden wicked grin. After all, I'm Jack's fiancé. I froze. She chuckled and added, relax. It's just a political arrangement. There's no love between us. Even after we get married, you can stick around. I mean, why not sleep in the middle between us? I choked. Miss, please don't joke like that. She stared at me for a few seconds, then burst out laughing, practically doubling over. Before she could say anything else, a noise came from inside the room. Oh, sounds like our Jack is awake. Go see him yet? I stepped inside. Jack had propped himself up in bed. His face was pale, black hair messy across his forehead, making him look softer, less intimidating than usual. Patricia. Out. Already kicking me out? And here I was, the one who brought you here. So ungrateful. As she left, she tossed one last line over her shoulder. Jack, your little Omega here doesn't seem to care at all. Not a single reaction. But hey, you had it coming. You're always such a jerk. Get lost, Jack snapped, clearly fed up. The door closed, leaving just the two of us. Silence. Awkward. So, are you feeling okay? Jack didn't look pleased. He lifted his gaze and shot me a cold look. You care? I nodded seriously. I do. He stared. Words like that, who would believe them? I shifted, uncomfortable. I'll go get you something to eat, okay? You haven't eaten in a while. You must be hungry. I'll go buy food. Without waiting for a response, I turned and hurried out of the room. Just as I stepped out the door, I ran straight into that same beta woman again. Jack kicked you out too? She asked, raising an eyebrow. I shook my head. No. I'm just getting him food. Oh, she said casually, lighting a cigarette. Go ahead then. I took a few steps before something pulled me back. I turned around, looked her in the eye, and said quietly but firmly, if you're really going to marry him, then why call me? Patricia froze for a second, caught off guard. Then she burst out laughing. She coughed on the smoke mid-laugh, choking between wheezes. Douglas, you're such an entertaining little Omega. No wonder Jack watches you like you're the last damn jewel on earth. I don't know what was really going on with Jack. I just knew he was incredibly difficult to deal with, like a child who needs to be coaxed just to eat. It took all my energy to get him to finish a single bowl of porridge. I kept chatting away the whole time. When you're discharged, ask the housekeeper to make you some fish soup. Don't complain about the fishy smell. Not being picky helps you recover faster. And come on, fish makes you smarter. Faster reflexes. Maybe next time you won't get hurt again. Jack cut me off mid-ramble. Douglas, you're so damn noisy. I shut up. Seriously? I was just trying to help. Then, out of nowhere, Jack muttered, Patricia's just our military medic. There's nothing between us. She just has a twisted sense of humor and loves screwing around. Don't pay attention to anything she says. Was Jack explaining himself? My brain short-circuited for a moment. I blinked and gave a soft, dumbfounded, oh, got it. His face darkened instantly. Forget it. Doesn't matter. It's not like you care anyway. I shouldn't have bothered explaining. He turned away, pulled the blanket over his head, and practically barked, go home. Angry again, for no reason I could grasp. I pursed my lips, thinking to myself, trying to understand Jack's moods was harder than trying to cook fish soup that didn't smell fishy. After discharge, Jack was ordered to rest at home. But of course, he didn't listen. He kept sneaking out, refusing to stay put. One day, I came home from school and saw Jack sitting in the living room in a bathrobe, his hair dripping wet. He must have just showered. I walked over and spotted 2 bottles of liquor on the coffee table. One was already half empty. Panic spiked in my chest, quickly followed by anger. I snatched the glass out of his hand. You just got out of the hospital. You can't drink. Jack had his head down, like he hadn't even registered what was happening. After a while, he slowly pushed his wet bangs back. Why? I frowned. Why what? He stood up and began walking toward me. There was something unreadable in his eyes. My heart jumped. I instinctively took a step back, then another, until my back hit the wall. Nowhere left to run. Why, he said slowly, don't you love me at all? What? Where the hell did that come from? Jack reached out and caged me in. He didn't grip me hard, but the air around us felt suffocating. You don't love me. Not even a little bit. You're only here because you feel guilty. His expression darkened, twisted by resentment. But so what? He whispered. You're mine anyway. You always will be. And then, in one swift motion, he grabbed my chin and kissed me, hard. The taste of rum lingered between us, thick and intoxicating. I gasped, struggling for air. My hand found his wrist, fingers digging in. You're drunk? I rasped. Let go. I can't breathe. Jack's eyelashes fluttered. Then slowly he let go. He stood still, like someone had yanked his battery out. Just standing there, frozen. So this is what Jack's like when he's drunk, I thought. I reached up and rubbed my sore neck, then sighed. Took his hand. Come on. Let's dry your hair. If you sleep with wet hair, you'll go insane. Though, to be fair, you're already halfway there. I added that last part silently, to myself. After that breakdown, Jack was oddly obedient. He followed every word I said. Sit, he sat. Don't move. He didn't move. I turned on the blow-dryer. Warm air ruffled through his damp hair. I ran my fingers through it. So, cool to the touch. It felt nice. Your hair's so soft, I murmured. Why is your temper so sharp? Our eyes met in the mirror. Jack was undeniably good-looking. Right now, with his hair slightly fluffed, he looked more like a college boy than a sharp-tongued military officer. I couldn't help but wonder. Once he sobered up, would this prideful man remember the scene from earlier? Remember saying I didn't love him at all? The thought made my fingers tighten. I tugged a little too hard. Jack winced in the mirror, brows scrunching in pain. Such a delicate little tyrant. Did he really not get it? If all this was just about guilt, then why would I have come this far? Jack must have been busy, really busy. Barely a week into his recovery, and he was already back with the military. During lab, our professor mentioned the worsening situation at the border. The school was now recruiting volunteers to help distribute suppressants in the war zone. Anyone interested could sign up. Something stirred in me. The next day, I submitted my application. Some of the senior students from the lab were joining as well. This is so cool. Way better than crunching numbers in the lab all day, one of the seniors said excitedly. This isn't a game, you know, another warned. It's dangerous out there. Exactly, that's why it matters. Matters. That word echoed in my mind, and suddenly my heart was pounding like a drum. I was finally going to do something meaningful. I didn't tell Jack I signed up, but I didn't expect the report to land on his desk so fast. My phone buzzed with a message from him. Come home. Now. My stomach dropped. I had a bad feeling. Sure enough, the moment I stepped inside, Jack stood there, face stormy. The front lines are dangerous. You're not going. Honestly, I wasn't surprised. For more than 20 years, Jack had kept me close like a tethered bird in a gilded cage. I was his canary. Always within reach. But not anymore. I'm going, Jack, I said, steadying my voice. It means something to me. I need to do this. I can't live the rest of my life locked away at home, just playing the part of your pretty little pet. Canary? Jack scoffed. Don't forget, you owe me your life. You think you can repay that debt like this? I picked up a fruit knife from the table and held it out to him. Then take it now. If that's what you want, go ahead, take it. Jack slapped the knife from my hand hard. It clattered against the tile floor, ringing out like glass breaking. Douglas, he growled. What the hell is wrong with you? You think doing something meaningful means going off to die? I met his gaze, calm. Then why do you do it, Jack? If it's so dangerous, why do you still go? Because it's my duty. But it doesn't have to be mine, I said quietly. It could be anyone's. I know the military's short on medics. That's why the school is sending volunteers. Let me go. I can handle it. Please, trust me just this once. I'm not worried you can't handle it, he bit out. I'm afraid you'll get hurt. He couldn't say it, but I heard it anyway. His father's death, no matter how many years had passed, had left a scar so deep it never really healed. I can't go through it again, he whispered. Watching people I care about leave, one after another. Sure, you're all about love and sacrifice. I'm the only selfish one. I took a step forward. Kneeling down in front of him, I looked straight into his eyes. These past years, I've been stuck in a nightmare. But I'll take care of myself. Please, let me do what I believe is right. In the end, Jack relented. But he didn't speak to me for several days before I left. When deployment came, we traveled with the military and set up camp near the war zone. The medics had their own tents. By day, I handed out suppressants and helped treat minor injuries. By night, I was so drained I fell asleep the moment I lay down. One night, in the dead silence, I felt an itch against my neck. Half asleep, I opened my eyes and saw a silhouette seated beside my bed. Who was that? My heart leapt into my throat. I reached under my pillow, grabbed my phone, ready to swing it. The shadow spoke. Scared. The voice was familiar. My breath steadied instantly. My body relaxed. What if it wasn't me? Jack said. What if it had been a stranger? What would you have done? You were scared, weren't you, Douglas? I bit my lip. You did that on purpose. Jack let out a low laugh. Yeah. Wanted to scare you. Thought maybe I could rattle you enough to make you come home. I rolled my eyes. Not that easy. Keep trying to mess with me, and someone's bound to get hurt. And I mean you. Oh, Dr. Baker, is that a threat? I sniffed, suddenly catching a faint trace of mint in the air. Wait a minute. Don't tell me, your rut's early again? Jack casually touched the back of his neck. Maybe it was seeing you that triggered it. I couldn't help but laugh, exasperated. Can you stop being such a menace? What can I say? He murmured, voice dropping as he leaned closer. Dr. Baker, I need your help. He climbed on top of me, pinning me down. His teeth brushed lightly against my gland. Save me, brilliant Dr. Baker. With your noble heart, I know you won't let me suffer like this, right? I groaned and reached up to yank a handful of his hair. I didn't want him to bite. I wanted to slap him. Can you just? His teeth sank in sharp and sudden. My words died in my throat. Not say stuff like that, I gasped. Thank you, Dr. Baker, Jack whispered, the corners of his lips curling with wicked satisfaction. Jack's alpha pheromones surged wildly through the air, chaotic and intense. I lay on my back, dazed, vision blurred. His breath ghosted over my ear, voice low and teasing, every syllable laced with dangerous flirtation. Come on, doctor, save my life. The 13th district had always been prone to earthquakes. On the 10th day of the conflict, one hit, without warning. I was tending to a little girl's wound when the evacuation alert came through on my phone. After wrapping her up, I guided her to safety and joined the others. You'll stay here with my senior, I told her gently, pointing to one of my teammates. He'll take care of you. She tugged at the hem of my coat. Aren't you staying too? That place is dangerous. I glanced at my phone, dozens of missed calls. But in the sea of soldiers and volunteers, there was no sign of Jack. I crouched down and stroked her hair. I have to find someone very important. I'll feel better once I bring him back safe. You stay here and be good, all right? The little girl nodded obediently. Okay. I slipped my phone into my pocket and stood up. I repeated his name silently, over and over in my mind. Where are you? I remembered Jack once installed a tracking system on my phone. What he didn't know was, I'd found a way to reverse it. I never thought the first time I'd use that software would be like this. I followed the blinking red dot on the screen, step by step getting closer. Then, I saw him. That familiar silhouette. My pupils shrank. Jack. A roar overhead. Rocks began to fall. Without thinking, I lunged forward and shoved him aside. The ground split. Earth and rubble came crashing down like a thunderstorm. We both hit the dirt, eyes wide as the last sliver of light was swallowed up above us. In the suffocating dark, the only thing left was the sound of our breath. Shit. Douglas, why the hell did you come back? Jack growled. My arm had been slashed open by sharp debris. Blood streamed freely. It hurt like hell. I rolled my eyes despite the pain. If I didn't come back, you'd be dead. You're welcome. Jack didn't reply at first. Then quietly, you're hurt. I lied without hesitation. No. We don't know when rescue will get here, I added. But it shouldn't be long. We were pinned beneath a cramped pocket of rubble. No signal. The only light came from the faint glow of my phone screen, barely enough to keep the darkness from pressing in completely. Don't scowl like that. Come on, Talk to me, I said, trying to keep the mood light. Otherwise, this is going to be really boring. Talk about what? I lifted the phone under my chin, made a silly face at him. If I died and came back as a ghost, and haunted you forever, would you be scared? Jack snorted. A real laugh. Scared? Please. You'd be the one terrified. He wrinkled his nose in mock annoyance. How childish. Okay, fine. I chuckled. Let's be serious then. Jack, do you hate me? His brows twitched slightly. After a long pause, he answered. I used to. But after all these years, it's just been the two of us. Hate doesn't mean much anymore. I nodded. That's surprisingly reasonable of you. I shifted my aching arm to find a better position. The wind can blow away a sheet of paper, but not a butterfly, I murmured. Jack finished the quote. Because the power of life lies in resistance. I smiled. You told me that once. Would you ever give in to fate? No. Me neither. But the bleeding wasn't stopping. Half my arm was numb, the skin cold and slick with blood. My head began to swim. Jack noticed something was wrong. That coppery smell was too strong. Even the citrusy tang of pheromones couldn't cover it. He grabbed my wrist, then reached for my wound. His hand came away sticky and wet. You're bleeding? His face went pale. His voice cracked. Douglas, you're hurt? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Was it when you pushed me out of the way? He asked, realization dawning. I didn't want another lecture, I joked weakly. Seriously, getting scolded by someone 2 years younger every day? It's embarrassing. Besides, rescue'll be here soon. No point in making a fuss. I'm just a little tired. A little cold. I'll nap a bit, okay? You carry me out when they get here. Jack wrapped his arms around me, tightly. His body was warm, but I still felt cold. So I curled in closer. Don't sleep. Don't you dare sleep, Douglas. Don't. I'm not dying. Why are you panicking? If I wasn't mistaken, his voice was trembling. Crying? That was rare. Jack hadn't cried since his mother passed. Please, Douglas. Then, above us, the rumble of machinery. Rescue had arrived. Didn't I say? They got here just in time. As light poured in from above, I felt the last bit of tension in my chest finally begin to ease. Jack carried me out of the collapsed pit. His steps were unsteady, but his hold on me remained surprisingly firm. Just before consciousness slipped away completely, I murmured into his ear. I don't want to owe you any more. I want to pay it back properly. This time, is it enough? I hoped it was. Because only when the debt was settled, could we truly stand on equal ground. Not as creditor and debtor, but as two people. Two people who might one day say, I love you, without fear, without shame, without hiding it like vermin in a gutter. You're in pain too, aren't you, Jack? His arms stiffened for a split second. Then, as they laid me on the stretcher, I heard it. His voice, raw and ragged, screaming with desperation. You haven't paid it back. You haven't. It went from anger to pleading. Please, please don't close your eyes. Douglas, you can't die. His grip on my hand began to loosen. I promise, if you make it through this, we're even. I've always believed I was hard to kill. During the kidnapping when I was a child, every other kid who got taken with me was killed off. All but me. The last bargaining chip. The kidnappers said they'd make the most of me. Cut off a hand the first day. A leg the next. But I got out unscathed. Not even a scratch. At the cost of someone else's life. After that, I was haunted by nightmares every single night. Jack eventually found me a therapist. It took years before I could finally sleep without fear. And now, again, blood pouring from my body, seeping into the dust of that dark little cave. But I didn't die. Maybe something deep inside me still refused to let go. A thread of faith, invisible but unyielding, keeping me here. When my eyelids finally lifted, everything was blindingly white. I turned my head slightly. My arm was wrapped in thick gauze. And 4 was dripping into the back of my hand. And there he was, slumped by my bedside, utterly disheveled. I reached out and gently tugged a lock of his hair. He startled awake. When he saw my eyes open, his expression lit up with joy. "Douglas, are you in any pain? Don't look so nervous." "I'm fine. I told you I'd be okay. Why don't you believe me?" Jack looked far worse than I did. Unshaven. Bloodshot eyes. So vain and put together usually. When had he ever looked like this? "I was holding you and your body felt cold. Like I was losing you in real time. Why did you come back?" His voice caught. "When you pushed me out of the way, did it not cross your mind you might get hurt? Why did I guess at that moment all I could think about was, he was in danger." I shrugged. Didn't have time to think. I wasn't about to watch someone die in front of me and do nothing. "Oh, by the way, that deal you made about us being even, you're sticking to that, right?" Jack's eyes reddened without warning. "Do we have to be even? Even if I told you I love you, would you still walk away?" I stared at him, stunned. My fingers curled, clutching at the sheets. "I knew it," he said bitterly. "In the end, everyone leaves me. I'm always the one left behind." He drew in a shaky breath. "Forget it. I keep my word. You get better. After that, you can move out. Go live the life you want, Douglas." He turned away, voice thick, brushing hastily at his eyes. "I'll go get the doctor." "Jack." I stopped him. "You always say I don't love you. Not even a little. But Jack, you just never believed that I did. I really did love you. Not just out of guilt. But you never believed me. Not even for a second." Jack froze in place, as if afraid to hear another word. And for a moment, he didn't look like the cold, unshakable Jack I'd known for so long. He looked lost. His voice dropped to a whisper. "I just used guilt to keep you by my side. I've always had nothing. Who knew? I was actually loved too." The day I was discharged, the sky was brilliantly blue, without a single cloud. Honestly, after everything was said between us in that hospital room, I felt lighter. Like years of heaviness had finally been peeled off my shoulders. Jack, on the other hand, seemed awkward. Or maybe just not like himself. He silently took care of everything, fussing over me more than I ever thought possible. Even fed me himself when I couldn't lift my arm. Of course, this was still Jack, the young master of the Watson family. He was absolutely awful at it. Spilled food everywhere. Made a total mess. Every time he screwed up, he'd make the most defeated face, and I couldn't help but laugh. I secretly liked seeing him like that. After I got out, I officially moved out of the Watson family estate. Rented a small apartment near campus. On the day I left, Jack never came out of his room. But just before I walked away, I looked up at the balcony window. Sure enough, the curtain shifted, just a little. I couldn't hold back a chuckle. So obvious. So clumsy. How had I never noticed it before? Jack was actually kind of adorable. And now, finally, I could go out with my lab seniors to bars at night without guilt, drink, laugh, enjoy the adult kind of freedom that once felt so out of reach. Lately, Jack had been sending flowers to my place. Every single day. And not just any flowers, expensive ones, rare ones. The kind you couldn't bring yourself to throw away. They filled up my tiny apartment, crowding every inch of space. The living room had basically become a greenhouse. I had no choice but to message him, asking him to stop. So Jack adjusted tactics immediately. He started sending food to my lab instead. A lot of it. According to my lab mates, back when Jack was trying to win me back, they each gained at least 5 kilograms. Was it a blessing or a curse? No one could really say. When I heard that, I burst out laughing. Not my fault most of the food ended up in their stomachs. But those are all side stories now. The truth is, in the 6 months Jack spent trying to chase me again, I saw, for the first time, what true change looked like. This man, who had once been so possessive, so domineering, he was changing. Slowly but surely. And maybe, deep down, I'd softened a long time ago. I was just waiting. Waiting for the right moment. A moment where we could truly start over. Maybe Jack was waiting too. I didn't expect that moment to come so soon. It was one of those unpredictable weather days. A clear sky suddenly broken by torrential rain. Thankfully, my senior had the foresight to bring an umbrella and offered to walk me home. But the second we stepped outside the school gates, I froze. Standing there, drenched, holding a cheap umbrella. He was soaked to the bone. There was only one explanation. He didn't know it would rain, and had rushed out to buy one. Just to bring it to me. Something caved in my chest. I was about to speak when he beat me to it. I was worried you'd get caught in the rain, he said softly. But I see you're fine. That's good. I'll get going then. He turned to leave, but I reached out and grabbed his wrist. Wait. You're soaked. Come home with me, get dry, change clothes. You'll catch a cold. Jack pressed his lips together, and quietly hooked his pinky finger around mine. What about your senior? Won't he be mad? I couldn't hold back a laugh. Of course not. I brought him home. But the combination of sweating and getting drenched meant the inevitable. He came down with a fever. And as luck would have it, it triggered an early rut too. He was practically a walking furnace. I gave him medicine, a suppressant injection, and decided to sleep beside him, just in case the fever spiked again during the night. Lying in the dark, Jack suddenly muttered, "Don't seduce me." What? I'm scared I won't be able to hold back. I'll mark you. You're too tempting. I couldn't help but laugh. Then do it. I never told you not to. Jack stared at me stunned. His brows slowly furrowed. What do you mean by that? Douglas, do you even know what it means to let an alpha mark you? I do. I met his eyes. And it means exactly what you think it does. Jack inhaled sharply, then exhaled slowly. He leaned in, eyes glistening with something soft and unsure. All of this is your fault. I raised a brow. Blaming me again? I'm a mess now. Anxious. Unstable. Can't stop thinking about you, even in my dreams. I got lectured by the lieutenant general the other day, he added with a bitter laugh. Told me if I couldn't focus, I might as well stay home and play house. All your fault. That sounded more like the Jack I first knew, dramatic, sulky, like a spoiled royal. What do you want me to do then? Compensate you? I reached out, gently touched the back of his fever-warm neck. Can you go to class tomorrow? I can. He pressed a soft kiss to the corner of my lips. I'll give you the rest of my life as payment. Is that enough? You said it. I narrowed my eyes. No takebacks. Jack buried his head in the crook of my neck. Deal. Maybe, even in the soil poisoned by hatred and resentment, something could still grow. Maybe, just maybe, a new sprout called love could push through. Yeah. Maybe. And
thanks for stopping by. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos.